Welcome back to The Grind. In this video, we are going to talk about the Festive Dragon for the Celestial Rift season, Azrael. And the important thing to note about the Festive Dragon is that it will be tied to the branch that has draconic chests at the end of it. The branch itself will continue to cost 18,000 sigils, and at the very end of the branch, there'll be a repeatable node allowing you to spend sigils in order to get draconic chests. And I believe you can get up to 600 of them. So if you want some information ahead of time before this is released next week, you can check out my video from last season by searching draconic chests or festive branch or festive dragon. But for this branch, it will have enough shards to level up the dragon to obsidian tier, but beyond that, you'll have to open draconic chests in order to get more shards. Now, those draconic chests will also drop shards for previous festive dragons, but you'll have a higher drop rate for the current festive Azrael. The nice thing about these dragons is that you can continue to level them up as new tiers get added to the game. They will add more shards that you can collect to continue to level it up to the new end game tier if you choose to take it to end game tier. What is a nice usability about these dragons is you can leave them at lower tiers, and if you get this branch every season, you'll have a lot of dragons that you can place at lower tiers to help you with things like temple raid and assault. But the main incentive to get this branch is in order to get the draconic chests at the end of it, and it does cost a lot of sigils in order to do that, but the draconic chests that you can get, if you get all of them, they are extremely worth it, not only for the sigils that you can use, not only for the sigils that you can get from opening them at the beginning of the next season, but also they have a ton of resources that are very much needed for the majority of players. If you want more details on that, like I said, check out the video from last season, or I will make a video next week when the branch is released. But in this video, let's talk about the spell details. So first, Magical Archive is a passive spell. So destroying a tower grants the dragon an additional spell based on the tower destroyed. So depending on what tower you destroy, it will populate a certain spell that you can then use. And so you can use this strategically to destroy a certain tower to get a certain spell that you might need for the next part of the base. Now, this slide is missing some details, and the blog post did have some information in different places. So here is a clip where it shows that the Mark of Kayla, Valkyrie's Winds, and Shield of the Isle are those spells that can be obtained by the passive Magical Archive. And if you destroy Dark Flax and Howitzers, you get the Shield of Isles. If you destroy a Red Mage, you get Valkyrie's Winds. And if you destroy a Shielding Tower, you get the Mark of Kayla. Now, from the spotlight video, we can see the colors of a couple of these spells. The Valkyrie's Winds is a red spell, and so you can only use it if the red mage is not present. You could activate it, but it wouldn't be dealing damage to the shielded towers. And it does not cost any rage, and it damages nearby towers for 6% of the dragon's modified HP every second for 3 seconds. And then you can also see the Shield of the Isles, or Easels, however you want to say it, show up a few times actually. It is a blue spell, and it is a shield that makes you invincible for 4 seconds, and it even blocks Mage Tower's super shots. It would be disabled by an ice flak, however, so that is something to keep in mind. Unfortunately, in this clip, we do not see an example of the Mark of Kayla, so we do not know if it has a color associated with it or not, but that is the spell that will give you rage and health on tower destruction once you apply that spell to the tower. A couple other spells that are missing from this slide but were present on the blog post are Solar Strike and Adaptive Resist. Now, Solar Strike is a great addition to this kit because it allows you to basically choose which spell from Magical Archive you would like to have, because it is a way to basically one-shot a tower. As long as it's not shielded, you can cast this, and in a small radius, so probably mostly one tower, maybe you can get two, but with a 5-second cooldown, you can cast this for 0 rage. It's a white spell, so you can pick whatever tower, and it should destroy any tower at roughly this dragon's tier or level. And so you can decide if you want to hit a howitzer or dark flak in order to get that shield, or if you want to get back more health and rage, you can use it on a shielding tower in order to get the Mark of Kayla. And then if you attack a red mage, you'll get the Valkyrie's Wind to allow you to deal more damage. And it is a red spell as well, so it's convenient that you've already destroyed the red mage to get it. As long as there's not multiple red mages, you'll be able to cast that spell. The other spell that is on this dragon is Adaptive Resist, which is a cycling spell, which gives you different resists, and each time you cast it, you gain rage back. So even if you run low on rage, or if you got hit by a mage drain, you can always cycle Adaptive Resist to get back enough rage. And really the only spell that needs rage is Flash Fire, which is the final spell in this dragon's kit. And this is an active red 2 rage spell that damages towers in an area for a percentage of modified HP and freezes them for 3 seconds. It has no cooldown, and the affected towers take increased damage from all other sources. So this is a very interesting dragon because it doesn't really have high rage cost, except for if you're spamming Flash Fire, which, because there's no cooldown, you very well could use it repeatedly throughout the flight. And if you are able to get Mark of Kayla from shielding towers, then you can place that on other towers in order to keep getting rage back to fund using Flash Fire multiple times. But what is very nice is if you don't get the Mark of Kayla, you might get the Shield of the Isles, and then you'll have an invincible shield as long as there's no blue mage present to protect you from incoming damage while you continue to cast Solar Strike, which has a 0 rage cost but is on a 5-second cooldown. Now, with defenders, with shields going up, with Ice Flak super shots going off, this dragon is going to struggle for sure because it doesn't really have everything that it needs at an instant, but it has everything in its kit to make it a fun, interesting, and sustainable dragon. The downside, though, is that with the high pressure of a defended run with multiple super shots going off, this dragon is going to struggle. But I think that this will be a fun dragon to play around with, especially for undefended runs or for, farming bases or for assault and whatnot, because it has a lot of what it needs to be a decent dragon if you can manage the kit effectively. But it seems like it might be challenging to manage it as perfectly as possible. So it will take some testing and practicing to figure out how useful the dragon will really be, especially with defenders. But it does have that one-shot type spell. It does have that freeze that is in the base kit. So you can fire Solar Strike from the turn to take out the red mage and then use the freeze spell to prevent damage from coming in. Plus you have, when you destroy the red mage, you have that spell that comes up, which is that red spell that deals more damage to help you destroy the towers around it as well. And always having that Adaptive Resist to continue to cycle for more rage. So there's a lot in this dragon's kit. It does seem like it's a pretty involved dragon to fly. There's a lot going to be going on to manage all the spells, but it seems like it could be a fun one and has access to the damage needed, but potentially most likely will struggle with defended runs, especially on longer islands. But with a shorter base, you might be able to get through it without too much difficulty. So for the lower level players, like level 200 to 250 or less, this dragon might actually be a pretty decent one. It might be kind of fun to fly and get used to, especially if you're into sorcerers. I know I'm interested to give this one a try, so let me know what your thoughts are so far, and I'll see you in the next video.